What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with
Gershwan.
And today we're back at it, answering your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first.
And that is what none other than the dude Giovanni Bini has done. His question is, what would happen if the Tyranid Webway project had been completed?
That's a good question. For all those that don't know, during the right before the Horus Heresy, it was towards the end of the Great Crusade, the Emperor went to Terra because he was going to work on this secret project that he didn't tell any of his Primarchs about, or just the Imperium in general, and he was going to create a doorway into the Webway through Terra. And obviously it failed because of the Horus Heresy, the Horus being corrupted, Magnus doing some goofiness.
Magnus doing nothing wrong. Let's call it what it is.
No, I mean, it's like he broke in to the Terran
But he broke in
palace.
on good intentions, though.
Yeah, but I don't think you could ever say that in the court of law. Like, oh, by the way,
Like, let's say I had somebody who just got shot in my car, and the only way to get into like the hospital was to break in. Would they allow that?
yeah.
Because it's a person's life on the line.
No, I don't think they would. They would not be happy with you trying to break into a hospital.
But it's like there's people's lives on the line.
No, because I think there was a news report on this of this lady who broke into this person's house, pet their dog, did the dishes, and then went away. And obviously they got caught, and because they had cameras and whatever. But anyways, what if that would have never happened? What if like the Horus Heresy never would have never happened, and Magnus didn't ruin the Webway project? I think what would have happened is that we would have seen a very angry Eldar. The Eldar are basically the protectors, the wardens of the Webway. That was given to them by the old ones, and that's kind of how they are able to survive, jump in and out of real space.
Especially more so for the Harlequins, because that's pretty much where they live. They reside in there. You've got the Black Library.
Yep.
Segura supposedly is in there somewhere too.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, the Imperium would have done something to piss off the Eldar, and the Eldar would have tried to unify and fight or if not try to destroy the Imperium, at least prevent them from going into the Webway. So I highly doubt that even if the Webway project would have been established, like the Eldar would have been a bigger threat to the Imperium.
You don't think the Emperor would have done some kind of like truce or some type of treaty or something to allow that to happen?
He could have, but I think it's one of those situations where like eventually, because humanity is so gross, they would have just like ruined it. Look at every single project that humanity has done in 40K, and it turns to shit real quick.
That's true.
The Men of Iron, the colonization, so like the Golden Age, even like modern times. What did Gilliman do with his crusade?
The liberation of like
all those places. They brought like more death and destruction than
than actually saving them.
Right. Not that they were in a better spot because they were being attacked by Xenos and Chaos, but whatever.
Now, I agree. I completely agree. However, let's say the Horus Heresy still happened, but the Webway project was completed.
Yeah.
What do you still think the Imperium would be in a bad position or in the same position as they are today? Because essentially, let's say for some reason Magnus breaking in did happen, but by that point the Webway project was complete. Do you think that having the Webway project done would have tilted the scales in the favor for the Loyalists during the heresy?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think if that would have been the case, then the warp storms that blocked off the Ultramarines and the Space Wolves wouldn't really matter because the Emperor could just like pop out of a Webway portal somewhere by Ultramar or stuff like that. I mean, eventually they did. They found the Dolmen Gates.
Which is kind of like a workaround. But
yeah, but still, like, I think if the Imperium had control of it, yeah, they could have just, like, popped out on Fenris, been like, hey, jump in here, and then boom.
Yeah. Because you also have to remember that currently the Imperium does, like, huge distance travel through the warp. And that is horrible because it could end in death. You may never come out. You may come out in the past. You may come out in the future. You may come out somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Webway is that's not a thing anymore. Yep. It is a almost completely safe way of travel, and that's definitely a huge boost to any faction.
Yeah, because a big thing about 40K and something that gets mentioned very rarely is that when there are huge military campaigns and there's need for reinforcements or resources, the warp isn't reliable. Oftentimes the Adeptus, well, on top of the fact that the Adeptus Administratum is extremely inefficient. Mm-hmm. So they'll send like food to a place that it wasn't supposed to go to, or like if they do get stuck because of the time anomaly, they'll arrive when the war is already over or something like that. So having Webway projects, even in today's time, would have been, or even in like 42nd millennium, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I think that's a main reason why the Eldar have managed to survive. Because they've been a dying race for too long. They should be dead by now.
Yeah.
But good question. A lot to think about.
Next one.
This one is by Mason Miller. Can a destroyed Tyranid hive fleet come back to life after death? Kind of like Kraken, Behemoth, Hydra, and Jormungandr. So I know a few of these, they were considered dead because they were in like a ice world and they were like frozen over. But once they thaw out, they do resurrect, if that's what you're talking about. I know the hive mind can also use the same biomass and like genetic information to recreate certain tendrils that might have been wiped out. So yeah, it is a possibility. But the reason is if they got wiped out, they're inefficient, and the hive mind knows this. So chances are they won't recreate them again.
Right, exactly.
Tyranids, man.
They're cool, but they suck on the tabletop.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Heron Royer. Where do we share the Bridget B / leneshi fan art? You could hit us up on our Facebook page, send us a message, or on our Instagram at One Mind Syndicate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We would gladly take a look. Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Next question.
This one is by Zach Leclerc. On a scale of 1 to Alpha Legion, how stealthy would it be to print a whole-ass ghost keel in transparent 3D printer filament? We will know the answer in about 28 hours.
The ghost keel's big, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so then you have a good chance. The bigger the model, the easier it is for like a what is it called? Like a cheap printer can print for you. I bought a 3D printer, and like the first thing that I tried to do is print a miniature for D&D. No, it did not come out good. It came out pretty bad, but that's because it was like super little. The bigger something is, the better. Right.
It's just that all these intricate details kind of get lost in all the layering and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really cool because ghost keels and like stealth suits and stuff, they're meant to go like camouflage. So having that, send us some pictures at Facebook,
Oh yeah.
Maybe put a little bit of Bridget B in there somewhere.
Yeah, always Bridget B. Next question comes from Giovanni Binny. What if the Oh no, we read that. Next question.
This one is by Temandea la Bird. If Gilliman were to try and undo the imperial cult and say that his father is a man, not a god, and should be treated as such, would they label him a heretic?
Yes, because there would be a very significant amount of the High Lords that lose their jobs. So they're trying to protect themselves as much as possible, and they'll just see Gilliman, an outsider, as a threat.
Right. Not just that, but they could easily twist it to say, oh, well, you were brought back by the Xeno Eldar. Like, who are we to believe anything you say? You could be a spy, you could be brainwashed, yada, yada, yada.
And then I feel like that story is way more badass than the story that we got. Because then it does become a situation of like the Imperium versus Gilliman, who is siding with the Eldar. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And not just the High Lords too, but the whole freaking Imperial like religion is based on the Emperor being a god. So that's a lot to contend with.
Yeah, even though I do think that the Emperor, when he spoke to Gilliman, he was like, oh, by the way, I'm turning into a god, so let them worship me. Next question comes from Pikachu Nut.
That's a great name.
If you guys could meet and sit down with sit to talk with the Primarchs from the pre-heresy and post-heresy, who would you guys pick? They do not need to be the same, but it's not against it.
Oh, so if you had to talk with a Primarch from 30K and 40K, who would it be and why?
Yeah.
And you could pick a different Primarch. Definitely during 30K, it would be Sanguinius. The dude was going through so much BS, like Red Thirst, and like he's just trying to find a cure. And then his best friend, Horus, became the War Master, and then he becomes tainted by chaos. I just want to sit him down and just say, hey, man, it's okay. You can cry if you want to.
For my pre-heresy, I think I would want to talk to Magnus the Red and be like, hey, by the way, don't try to break into the Terran Palace, because I would have saved a lot. I think having Magnus as a loyalist would have been really good.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
What about post-heresy?
Post-heresy, Fulgrim, to see what he's up to and when he's going to actually be released and become a model.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
Yeah. What's up with your serpent-like tail? And what was the whole thing with the painting? I'm still confused.
For my post-heresy dude, I probably would do... Ooh, that's a tough one.
Ferrus Manus, so you could just talk to a skull.
A skull? That's creepy. No. Who is the one that worships Tzeentch? The Primarch?
Magnus?
Yeah, Oh, yeah.
You already said Magnus.
I already said Magnus,
Yeah.
right?
It could be the same one.
Because I would want to worship Tzeentch post-heresy, so I could be like, hey, put in a good word for me with Tzeentch.
Kind of like a letter of recommendation.
Basically, and then beepty boppity boop,
Exactly like that. That's how it works.
Definitely. Next question comes from... You got one?
This one's by Timothy Armstrong. What are the protocols for crash landing on an uninhabited world? Do they have like basic survival training, or what's the deal?
Of course.
Yeah, Space Marines they could pretty much have like tactics for anything that comes up. If you get crash landed in a water world, you get crash landed on My Little Pony world, you're good to go.
Yeah, I wonder if there is a My Little Pony world out there.
Well, they got like Beastmen, so I guess that's kind of close.
Yeah, are there horse people?
There should be.
That's cool.
I mean, it's 40K. What don't they have?
That's true.
McDonald's?
McD's. They have McD's in 40K. Next question comes from Corey Black. What do you both think the Watchers in the Dark do for fun in their free time, aside from pretending the lion isn't on the rock? The Watchers in the Dark are weird.
Yeah.
They're definitely Xenos.
Are they?
I feel like they are.
I think they're more simp than anything.
Simp? What does that even mean?
It's like when you're like sweaty and like head over heels for like e-girls or...
Oh, okay. So that's why
It's
TikTok is calling me that.
It's like, yeah, dude, if you give her $1,000, she's gonna go out on a date with her. Like you'll go on a date with her, and like you actually believe it and do it.
So you're a lame-o.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know what the Watchers in the Dark though are up to.
Because they're like little to me they remind me of
Gremlins?
No, from Star Wars, not Ewoks. There's the sand.
Jawas?
There you go, Jawas.
Minus the stealing.
Well, I mean, they steal my heart.
Okay. And they're only native to the Rock, right? Not to the entire Caliban?
I believe so, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is weird. That's nasty.
Yeah, nasty. Next question.
Belial Mir. How good is Skitarii technology compared to that of the Astartes?
Better, I would say.
Yeah, same. Because I know a lot of times the Astarte gear comes from Skitarii. Or not Skitarii, but from the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Right.
Yeah. But it would make sense for the AdMech to actually keep the better gear for themselves, just in case a rebellion happens or anything like that.
Yeah, but then the huge difference, though, between the Skitarii legions and then the Space Marine chapters is obviously that the Space Marine chapters are more, they focus on quality as opposed to quantity, and some Skitarii legions focus more on quantity.
Right.
So they'll kill them with a bunch of lobotomized androids.
Where Space Marines kill you by lobotomizing you with your android.
Exactly. The Astarte first episode, I think it was, showcases how badass a Space Marine truly is supposed to be at shooting and just killing things.
Yeah.
I was watching another fan animation. I forget the name of it, but the guy made the Ultramarines like fire at some cultists, and the cultists were able to dodge the bullets and or not dodge the bullets, but like hide behind cover, and they weren't hit. It's like, yeah, I don't think that would really happen. I think Space Marines are so accurate that no matter what type of normal human it is, they're gonna kill them.
Because like the reflexes are like superb, and like their accuracy, marksmanship. I think by the time a human or a cultist sees a Space Marine, like they wouldn't even be able to react to the bolt that comes their way.
Yeah, so I guess the real question is, could you dodge a Space Marine if he was charging towards you? No. Next question. This one is by Eustace Bangs. Which one of y'all gets is the biggest?
Probably this guy.
Well, it depends on what you mean by biggest.
It depends what you mean by get.
In terms of armies, who do you think has the bigger army, you or me?
You. Most of it's in there.
Yeah, but it's all in sprues.
It's still there though.
Yeah.
Points wise, I think your orcs beat me. I think you got like 6K.
Yep, and I actually made a what is it called? A
battle scribe?
No, a sculpt.
Oh.
Or a mold of boys, so I can actually spew out as many boys as I want. Screw you, GW. Not really though, because the crotch has a hole.
Oh, that's good. You can put your own little flair to it. It could have big gets. But yeah, I think the biggest army I have is like 4,500 points. So.
Oh wow.
Which is the chaos. Yeah, it's chaos.
You rarely play chaos.
We rarely play now.
That's true. Next question comes from Tin Man 40,000. I hope this is the last time I ask, but how powerful would a Blink Primarch be? Can his presence be felt by the Psyker across the galaxy? Bring pain. So if there was a Blink Primarch, I do believe that he would be much stronger than just a normal Blink.
Definitely. The thing about Blanks though is like they're ostracized. They're kind of like the odd one out in the middle of like in a crowded group, which kind of makes sense when you look at the origins of the Primarchs after they were spread out by Chaos. But at the same time, like Primarchs are very charismatic. They attract people. They create a following. So it'd be very interesting to see the origins of a Blank. Like, even though he's supposed to be a Primarch and like rally people to his cause, like maybe he was the loner. Maybe that's the reason why the Emperor had to like cast him out, because it's like you don't want to lead the Space Marine legions. Like this is your following, but because you being a Blank, like nobody wants to be with you.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting concept that could be explored in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, the way you mentioned it, of saying like somebody across the galaxy could feel the presence of that Blink, it reminds me of like the Force with like Star Wars, where like Yoda's just sitting there and then he opens his eye and he's like, oh shit, I feel Count Dooku, he's here, like his presence. Yeah, I can sense it in the disturbance of it.
That'd be really badass.
Yeah,
it's like you have like a planetary tyrant taking over I don't know, some world, and then he feels the presence of a single Primarch land, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I've in the Eisenhorn Eisenhorn, right? The Inquisitor Eisenhorn. Yeah, the Xenos book. There is a Slanesh worshipping Chaos Space Marine who kind of goes through that. Like he arrives on the battlefield and like the Inquisitor like senses his presence, because it kind of makes the universe feel kind of weird. So it does exist. You can do it. I don't know if it would be across the galaxy. But,
yeah. Because like if somebody can feel you across the galaxy, imagine like the people right next to you. It's like their spider senses are constantly tingling.
You're just like permeating filth.
Oh, my Peter tingle.
Next question comes from Tabletop Guard. How do you guys maintain such a busy upload schedule? I am always interested to hear any tips for someone just starting off. It is very important for you to build a schedule within the day.
Yes.
So like Yeah, I mean, the best way to have a schedule is to like sit down and stick to a certain schedule.
Make it routine. Do the same thing every day. Because the more you get into the hang of it, like the flow comes easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just decide like, oh, I'm gonna work at 1:00 in the morning. Oh, I'm gonna work at 2 in the afternoon. Like that's gonna mess with you a lot.
Also, try to get rid of all your distractions because distractions are probably the number one reason why videos don't go out.
Put the phone away.
Yeah, TikTok is cool, but you know what TikTok has done, which is I thought was really cool. After a certain amount of time, you start getting ads that say, "Hey, put the phone down." Like you're on.
Really?
Yeah, I was blown away by that. Like, why would a company do that? But I mean, it's cool. I did put the phone down and started working on videos. So yeah. Routine and get rid of your distractions.
Yeah. Two of the probably main important things, because once you do that, everything else should just, be second nature.
Yes. And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for supporting us by watching, listening, sharing, and supporting us on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
A link in the description if you guys want to support us.
A simple dollar goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. It helps us buy what are they called? McDoubles.
McGangbangs?
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. A McGangbang's really good. Or a McOrgy. Oh.
I don't think I've had that one.
Yeah, I had that. I felt bad afterwards, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just to say you've had that is a title in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. I might do that today again. This was Gershwan,
the Sound Alchemist, and we'll be seeing you guys next time.